This week's race C is exactly what I was talking about last week. Unlike last week where it was an extended race B sprint, this race is a race where tire strategy and tire management matters a whole lot more to the outcome of your race. Catalunya is an especially good place for tire races. Its heavy abundance of high-speed right-handers will absolutely wreck your front left tire if you're not careful. And with the addition of Group 2 to this race, the high downforce and high power nature requires even more careful inputs. How well you can keep your tires alive can be the make or break of your race. It is simply one of the best kinds of races. So you might be asking, what makes it not perfect? Well, here's the catch. The catch is, the layout used for Catalunya is the old version of the final sector. Instead of the two sweeping high-speed right-handers used in the old days and today to close out the lap, it's an awkward, clunky, awful to drive chicane which then leads to the final right-hander onto the front straight. It was weird enough when F1 used it from 2007 to 2022, but taking it in a closed fender car is even weirder. Combine that with GT7's very lottery-based curbs, and you get a sector of pain and despair. Now, here are two reasons why the chicane doesn't work. Number one, reduces the point of tire saving. If we had those two extra high-speed right-handers, then the tire saving would be even better for this race. But instead, it's a low-speed section where tires don't really get scrubbed a lot. And number two, overtaking and flow. We saw in F1 how clunky it was to navigate through this final chicane and how it killed momentum to try and overtake. And if there were overtakes, they were all DRS assisted. In GT7, with the exception of the Audi RS5, Group 2 doesn't have DRS, only slipstream. The following end of lap is a great example of this. The leader gets a bad line into the chicane which compromises his exit, but despite the ultra-powerful custom slip, it takes over half of the front straight for the NSX behind to even get alongside him. If the same took place on the normal layout, he would have been able to get a chance to overtake much earlier. Whether you nail it, don't nail it, or completely botch it, I think we can all agree on the fact that no one likes this chicane. So enough talking about one specific set of corners, it's time to talk about the race itself. It's 13 laps of Catalunya with Group 2 cars on ×4 tire wear with mediums and softs. Like I said before, it's the perfect mix for a tire management race. How much, you may be wondering? Well, let's look at one of my races where it was all won on strategy. The situation begins with a missed braking point from Gulaga behind. He apologized after the race, but I take partial blame for this because I moved under braking under the presumption that he would go to on the outside to avoid hitting me. So anyway, I rejoined the race in third, but dropped back to fourth when HRS goes by. Though once he did try it, I virtually let it happen because I would rather live another lap than end up in the beach. For the next 2 laps, not much happens. I have a look into turn 1 on lap 3, but survival instincts took sensible control on that one. And this is another aspect of these races, patience. You don't want to go for such a big move early on in a longer race because you will likely go for an early trip to the beach if it goes wrong. Here, waiting an extra lap paid off, as this time I get the move done on HRS and move up into third. Now my sights are set on JRD in front. Fast forward very slightly, he gets the line very wrong into the fast right-hander, which allows me to sail through into second, now setting my sights on the leader. For the next 2 laps again, nothing happened. It's simply closing in the gap. But while I'm doing so, I was having to think about when I had to try a pass on him. Knowing the layout of Catalunya that's being used this week, it would be nigh impossible to make a successful pass. So I devised a plan. Instead of pitting on lap 7 or 8, which is normally the safest laps to pit, I took a gamble and pit on lap 6. The aim being to undercut the leader and build a gap for when he came out of the pits and hold on to my tires until the end with hopefully the win. Now I'm going to open up the display and cockpit cam to show you my inputs. Watch how little I am turning the wheels through the corners and how I try to screech the tires as little as possible. This is the #1 tactic to save tires. Turning less and screeching the tires less will keep their temperatures down and overall keep them alive for longer. The perfect way to make stints like this work. Fast forward to the end of lap 8, the leader has now come into the pits, and the undercut is successful, so I now hold the net lead with about a 3.5 second gap. The aim now is to keep the tire wear as low as possible to the end. Well, we did. And now I'm going to show you the tire wear of the top 4 to show you how different levels of tire management factor into each one of their races. Starting with mine, and despite pitting 1 lap earlier than everyone else, my tires are still okay-ish. Maybe about 25%, but that's progressive degradation. Now to second place, who pit on lap 8. I don't know if the Lexus is bad on tires or not, but that is a heavily worn front left in only 5 laps. Now on to third place, who pit on lap 7. Looks to be about 30%. But the biggest example is fourth place. He pitted lap 7, yet his front left is right on its rims. One more lap and it would have gone completely bald. That is just simply how big a difference tire wear and tire management makes. So in conclusion, this kind of race is exactly what we needed from last week's Race C. Tire strategy and tire management is always a good thing, even if the layout chosen is suboptimal. If they used a normal layout, it would have been perfect, but it's still a great combo nonetheless. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you around.